Hello, it's Nikki. Welcome to the next part. As you will have noticed, I've chunked down the episodes a little bit more, so there's a few more in this process, but I have a lot to say on this and I thought it would be much easier to consume in shorter, snappier episodes. Okay, where are we going next? August 2020. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about and you're thinking, what is this scenario? Go back and listen to the previous episodes. So August 2020, I'd had a really great summer in terms of business wise, but the fact that we had the opportunity to go away, and looking back, I just don't know how that happened really, because very quickly then we were going into lockdown and Christmas and all of that. But in August 2020, we went to Sandbanks on the south coast. And it's the most beautiful place. I'd never been before, and it had big skies and beautiful beaches and sea air, and we stayed in a lovely house, and it was just quite simple what we did, but it was just so needed. And it was interesting being on that holiday because there were times where I thought that I would do some work. So I was definitely still very much trying to juggle things. And sometimes when we're away, whether we're visiting family, I might hide away for an hour and a half or something in the morning and get stuff done. But I was all out of inspiration. And every time I went to write my newsletter or create some content, I just felt stuck. It felt like I had writer's block or something like that. And I just didn't know what to say. And I tried a couple of days because I am that person like, no, you must try harder. And by the second day, because I tried numerous times on the first day, I almost heard a voice saying, close your laptop. And that felt very weird to me and a bit unsettling because I was thinking, am I going to have a business if I close the laptop? And again, that's another lesson that maybe I needed to learn. And I did, and I trusted it because I felt that there was something else trying to come through. And what happened in that week was I still made sales. I still had people contacting me. I still sold places to the next Jam and Plan that I was doing. And it was really interesting what that process of being away was. And the words that I've written down in my notes were deeper, wider, broader. And it was a real moment of gaining clarity, but not in I think this is what the picture looks like. It felt much more abrupt than that, where, when you would play pin the tail on the donkey, I don't know if that's necessarily ethical anymore, but like pin the tail on the donkey or any of those kind of party games where you're blindfolded and the people who are directing you are saying, no, yes, hotter, colder, yes, no. And it's those sort of very directive moments. I felt like I was in that place in my business where I'd opened myself up, I'd closed my laptop, and I was almost saying it out there like, okay, what's next then? Show me what's next. And as the ideas started to come, I noticed how they felt in my body. And I had to pay attention and see if I could get to that sort of binary place of it's a yes or it's a no. And sometimes I wouldn't quite get it when the idea came. I would ask myself better questions. So I would say, tell me more. What could this look like? The power of the open question, basically. Or why am I excited about that? Or why is this not an immediate yes? Where do I need to go deeper? And so in that August, I felt like I was resetting things. And that's really important, especially if you're running your own gig, even though at the time you don't want to reset because you want to go. You want to do the next thing and you want the inspiration to be leading you and it's all going to be great and, keep going. But I've learned to stop. I've learned to almost be in that calm, in that rest. If you were swimming in the sea, for example, you wouldn't want to be in constant front crawl going against the waves, because actually you miss the moment. Sometimes you want to have that moment where you can just lay back or tread water, or just find a spot where you can put your feet down and rest a moment. So I felt like I was resetting, and I was also creating containers. So as I was gaining that clarity of what was going on, I really started to be strict of going, okay, so this is what this is. Right, let's put that into that pile. It felt like I was really organizing and deep cleaning and decluttering. That's what that process felt like. In September 2020, I knew my son was starting school, and he was one of the last in his class to start. So they did 3 intakes, and he didn't start, I know, I can't believe that I'm saying this, until the 24th of September. So they had an intake on the 10th and then the 17th, and he was in the sort of final pile. And that was a really interesting time of assessing how my business and my life were working together. Because in that September, he really needed me. And actually, he didn't need me as much as I thought he would, because he loved school and he got into the groove. And I think by the time the 24th of September came, he was like, look, I just need to get in there and have a lovely time. But you know what it's like with that settling in period. You're in, you're out, you're taking them for an hour, then you're picking them up, and then you're walking around the block, and then you're going back. And it's a lot of logistics, let's just say. But here what I had to do was to really keep checking in after I've had that August of the yes, no, of really going, so what does this mean in reality? What does this mean for my business and life? So I really started to be assessing how I was spending my time. And I think that's when I really started to notice data. And you will have heard me talk about this a lot on the podcast before, but I had to pay attention, because suddenly the fact that my 5-year-old, and he was 4 at that time, had been at home all of this time, and suddenly he was in a routine of school, and my daughter had just turned 1, I had a real understanding of, gosh, life is short and time moves really quickly. And I need to be very conscious in this process of how I'm doing things, rather than just wake up in 10 years' time and go, wow, what did I actually do? What's happened there? I was really being much more intentional in my life. And then rolling into October, even though I thought, oh, my son's in school now, like I've got all this time, I did still have my daughter at home. I do still have my daughter at home, even though she's at nursery 2 days a week now. But it was a real sense of, okay, you've got the clarity, you know who you need to be and want to be, but Raby, and this is when I talk to myself very sternly sometimes, you are going to have to slow down in order to speed up. You can't just be a bull in a china shop, as my nana used to say. You're going to have to be very methodical with this. And even though you're creative and you're never short of ideas and you want to do more and you get excited about things, slow down. Slow down. Put really strong foundations in place. And sometimes this is the stuff that I resist. This is not the exciting part. This is not the zone of genius in my body. If anything, it feels like it's getting in the way. But I had to then make things work for myself. So I really started to invest in systems and containers and support and actually doing things week in, week out, rather than when I just felt like it. Maybe this relates. And as part of this intentional moment, I really had to notice what was going on. How am I actually spending my time? Am I being organized here? And I had to get really clear. And it paid off for sure, because in the next episode, I'm going to tell you what happened next. Are you keen on coming to Jam and Plan Live? It's on August the 31st. It's a full day event. You get me 4 sessions 9:30 till 3:30, and then you get a week of support with me. So if September is your back to school, right, I better bloody do something with this, come along to Jam and Plan. Have a look on my site, nikiraby.com/Jam and Plan live. The tickets are there. The tickets are limited because you do get that one-on-one support, and I want to make sure that I'm able to provide that. So don't delay. If you need that support, please do come along. All right, my friends, I will see you in the next episode. It's an exciting one.